March 6, 1940, 11:47 a.m., Kala, Finland. The forest is silent. Snow falls in thick curtains. Temperature, -30°C. A Finnish sniper lies motionless in a shallow trench, covered in white. He's been there for 4 hours, hasn't moved, hasn't blinked, breathing through his nose so his breath doesn't fog in the air and give away his position. Simo Heihe is 5'3", 34 years old, a farmer, a nobody from a border village most Finns couldn't find on a map. But the Soviet Red Army knows exactly where he is. They've sent counter-snipers, artillery barrages, entire squads to hunt him down. They call him Belaya Smirt. The White Death. In 98 days of combat, this quiet farm boy has killed over 500 Soviet soldiers. More confirmed kills than any sniper in any major war, before or since. 5 kills per day, every single day, in a winter so brutal that temperatures drop to 40 below zero. The Soviets are terrified of him. And they're about to find him. A rifle cracks. An explosive round tears through the air, strikes Heihe in the lower left jaw. The impact shatters bone, destroys his face. Blood pours into the snow. His comrades rush to him, place him on a pile of corpses. He looks dead. Someone notices his foot moving. They pull him from the bodies, rush him to field hospital. Rumors spread throughout Finland and the Soviet Union. The White Death is dead. 7 days later, Heihe wakes from his coma, reads about his own death in a newspaper. On the same day, March 13, 1940, peace is declared. The Winter War is over. Heihe survived, barely, his face destroyed, but alive. This is the story of how an unknown farmer became history's deadliest soldier. Not through technology, not through superior weapons, not through formal military training. Through patience, precision, and a refusal to let his country fall. December 17, 1905. Kiiskainen Hamlet, Rotjärvi, Finland. Simo Heihe is born the 7th of 8 children in a Lutheran farming family. His father, Juho, owns the Mattila farm. His mother, Katriina, works from dawn until dark. The family is poor. Everyone works. Life in southern Finland near the Russian border is harsh. Winters are brutal. Summers are short. The forest provides game. The land provides crops. If you don't work, you don't eat. Simo attends school in the village of Mietale. 4 years of education. That's all. Then he puts his books away and picks up a shovel, picks up an axe, picks up a rifle. The rifle feels natural in his hands. He hunts with his father, small game at first, then larger. He learns to move silently through the forest, to read animal tracks, to wait for hours without moving, to control his breathing, to squeeze the trigger at exactly the right moment. By 17, he's winning local shooting competitions. In his first contest, he scores 93 out of 100 points, wins gold. People notice. The boy from the farm can shoot. In 1925, at age 20, Heihe begins mandatory military service. 1 year in the Finnish army. He joins Bicycle Battalion 2, serves with distinction, completes non-commissioned officer school. By discharge, he's been promoted to corporal. Then he returns to farming, to hunting, to the quiet life he knows. For 14 years, Simo Heihe is just a farmer. He cultivates fields, tends livestock, goes hunting in the winter, enters shooting competitions, wins most of them. His home fills with medals and trophies, but he never brags, never seeks attention. He's content. The world leaves him alone. Until November 30, 1939. The Soviet Union invades Finland. Stalin wants Finnish territory. He demands Finland cede 2,500 square kilometers of land and lease the Hanko Peninsula for 30 years. Finland refuses. So the Red Army attacks. 1 million Soviet troops, thousands of tanks, artillery, aircraft. The full weight of one of the world's largest militaries crashes across the Finnish border. Finland has 300,000 soldiers, outdated equipment, no tanks, limited artillery. Against any rational analysis, Finland should surrender immediately. The odds are impossible. But the Finns don't surrender. They fight. Simo Heihe, now 34, answers his country's call. He's assigned to the 6th Company of JR 34, part of the 13th Infantry Regiment. They're sent to defend the Kala sector north of Lake Ladoga. The landscape is perfect for defense, heavily forested, deep snow, sub-zero temperatures. The Soviets, expecting a quick victory, sent troops with summer uniforms. No skis, no familiarity with winter warfare. The Finns, meanwhile, are in their element. Heihe is issued a Finnish-produced M2830 rifle, a variant of the Mosin Nagant called the Pistokorva, or pointy ear, for its distinctive front sight. He refuses a telescopic scope, uses only iron sights. His reasoning is simple: scopes fog in extreme cold. They reflect light and give away position. Iron sights are reliable, and at the distances he's shooting, 300 to 400 meters, iron sights are enough. Besides, Heihe has been shooting with iron sights his entire life. The killing begins immediately. Heihe works alone, or with a spotter. He wears full white camouflage, homemade overalls that blend perfectly with snow. He lies in shallow foxholes, sometimes for 8 to 10 hours without moving. He prepares his positions carefully. Before settling in, he wets the snow in front of his position, then lets it freeze. This prevents his muzzle blast from kicking up powder that would reveal his location. He keeps snow in his mouth so his breath doesn't create visible fog. He pads his shooting position so he doesn't disturb the snow when aiming. These are not tactics taught in military schools. These are hunters' tactics, farmers' patience, a lifetime of knowledge about how to survive in Finnish winter. And they work. Soviet soldiers advance in columns along the few roads cutting through the forest. They're easy targets. They don't know the terrain. They cluster together for warmth. They wear dark uniforms that stand out against white snow. Heihe picks them off one by one. An officer, a machine gunner, a soldier lighting a cigarette, each shot carefully calculated, each kill confirmed by his spotter before moving to the next target. By December 22, 1939, 22 days into the war, Heihe has killed 138 Soviet soldiers. The Red Army notices. The Soviets are losing the winter war badly. Despite overwhelming numerical superiority, they can't break the Finnish defensive lines. Finnish ski troops use hit-and-run tactics. They appear from the forest, attack, then vanish. Soviet supply columns are ambushed. Entire Soviet divisions are encircled and destroyed. The Finns call these encircled units Mahtis, firewood. They chop the Soviets into pieces. At Kala, Heihe becomes a particular problem. Soviet officers don't live long near his sector. The Red Army tries everything to kill him. They send counter-snipers. Experienced Soviet marksmen tasked with hunting Heihe down. He kills them. They call in artillery strikes on suspected sniper positions. Entire hillsides are obliterated with shell fire. Heihe waits until the shelling stops, then returns to work. They try to flank his position with infantry attacks. Finnish defenses hold. Heihe continues shooting. Word spreads through Soviet ranks. A Finnish sniper is out there, invisible, unstoppable, killing officers and soldiers alike. The Soviets give him a nickname, Belaya Smrt, the White Death. Finnish propaganda seizes the story. Newspapers feature the invisible Finnish soldier, a hero of mythical proportions, the embodiment of Finnish resistance. They call him Taika Ampuja, the magic shooter. Heihe is promoted, given medals. Field Marshal Mannerheim himself takes notice. On February 17, 1940, Heihe's confirmed kill count reaches 219. Some accounts put the number higher. His personal diary, discovered decades later in 2017, suggests around 500 kills total. That number includes kills made with his Suomi KP-31 submachine gun when defending positions at close range. But only confirmed sniper kills count. Kills where a spotter verified the target was dead. No shots at groups where multiple snipers fired. only individual confirmed kills. Still, the numbers are staggering. 5 kills per day, every day, for 98 days. In temperatures dropping to -40. In daylight hours that barely lasted 6 hours. Against an enemy that knew he was there and desperately wanted him dead. By early March 1940, Finland is exhausted. The Red Army has suffered catastrophic casualties. Estimates range from 130,000 to 250,000 dead. But the Soviets can afford losses. Finland cannot. Finnish troops are running out of ammunition, out of supplies, out of men. The defensive lines are holding, barely. But everyone knows the war can't last much longer. On March 6, Soviet commanders launch another attack at Kala. They know the Finnish positions. They know about the sniper. They bring counter-snipers, artillery, everything they have. Heihe is in his usual position. Foxhole, white camouflage, iron sights, watching Soviet troops advance through his rifle's sights. Then a Soviet soldier, possibly a counter-sniper, possibly just a lucky shot, fires an explosive round. The bullet finds Heihe, strikes his lower left jaw. The impact is catastrophic. The explosive round tears through soft tissue, shatters jawbone, destroys teeth. Heihe's face essentially explodes. He collapses into the snow, blood everywhere. His comrades rush to retrieve him. They think he's dead, place him on a pile of corpses. Someone notices his foot moving. They pull him off the death pile, rush him to field hospital. Medics do what they can. It's not much. His injuries are too severe. They don't expect him to survive. Heihe slips into a coma. For 7 days, Simo Heihe hovers between life and death. Newspapers in Finland and the Soviet Union report the White Death is dead. Soviet troops celebrate. Finnish propaganda mourns. The myth seems over. But on March 13, 1940, Heihe wakes up. The same day, Finland and the Soviet Union sign a peace treaty. The Winter War is over. Finland cedes territory but maintains independence. The Soviets claim victory but suffered humiliating casualties. Heihe reads newspaper articles about his own death, sends a letter to correct the mistake. He's alive, barely recognizable, face destroyed, but alive. Recovery takes months. 26 surgeries over 14 months. Doctors rebuild his jaw, his face, but nothing can restore what he looked like before. The scars are permanent, deep, visible. When the continuation war breaks out in 1941, Heihe requests permission to return to combat. The Finnish army refuses. His injuries are too severe. He's still recovering. His fighting days are over. Besides, the myth of the White Death is more valuable than the man. On August 28, 1940, Field Marshal Carl Gustaf Emil Mannerheim promotes Heihe from corporal directly to second lieutenant. An unprecedented jump in rank in Finnish military history, the only promotion of its kind. Heihe receives the Medal of Liberty, 1st and 2nd class. The Cross of Liberty, 3rd and 4th class, honors normally reserved for officers. He's awarded a specially engraved SAKO M2830 rifle, serial number 100,781, donated by Swedish businessman Eugen Johansson as recognition for being the best marksman of the Corps. He's nominated as a Knight of the Mannerheim Cross, Finland's highest military honor. Administrative reasons prevent the award. The cross isn't given solely for Winter War achievements. But Heihe receives the Cross of Kala Medal, one of the first 7 made of silver. His cross is numbered 4, following Marshal Mannerheim, President Kirsti Kallio, and his division commander. Heihe becomes a national hero, a legend, the embodiment of Finnish resistance. But the man himself wants nothing to do with fame. After the war, the Finnish government gives Heihe a farm in southeast Finland. His original home is now on the Soviet side of the new border. Like 430,000 other Karelian refugees, he can never go back. He settles in the village of Juchila, clears wild land, builds a new farm, returns to the only life he ever wanted, farming, hunting, breeding dogs. He never marries, never has children, lives alone. People ask him about the war. He refuses to discuss it. When pressed, he gives simple answers. In a 1998 interview, someone asks how he became such a good sniper. Heihe replies, "Practice." In 2001, at age 95, an interviewer asks if he feels remorse for the soldiers he killed. Heihe's answer is direct. "I did what I was told to do as well as I could. There would be no Finland unless everyone else had done the same." But the war follows him anyway. Death threats arrive. Anonymous letters. Some from Finns who blame him for Soviet atrocities. Others possibly from families of Soviet soldiers. He receives hate mail decades after the fighting stopped. His face, scarred, permanently disfigured, makes him recognizable. He avoids crowds, avoids attention, suffers from loneliness, nightmares. The injuries heal, the memories don't. Yet he also becomes a symbol. He attends hunting trips with Finnish presidents, appears at war veteran gatherings, accepts honors quietly without fanfare. The Kala and Simo Heihe Museum opens in Miettilä in 1983, dedicated to the Battle of Kala and his life. He attends the opening, says little. In 2004, 2 years after his death, a television poll ranks the 100 greatest Finns of all time. Heihe places 74th. Simo Heihe dies on April 1, 2002, at age 96. Natural causes. In a war veterans nursing home in Hamina, Finland. He's buried in his hometown of Ruokalahti, a quiet funeral, small, the way he would have wanted it. His legacy, however, is anything but quiet. Historians call him the deadliest sniper in history. Confirmed kills, over 500 in less than 100 days, an average of 5 per day, in extreme winter conditions, against an enemy desperate to kill him. No sniper before or since has matched that record. Not in World War II, not in Korea, not in Vietnam, not in Iraq or Afghanistan. The numbers speak for themselves. But numbers don't tell the whole story. Simo Heihe wasn't a trained sniper when the Winter War began. He was a farmer, a hunter, someone who learned to shoot by necessity, not by military doctrine. He didn't use advanced technology. No telescopic scope, no specialized equipment, just iron sights and a rifle he was intimately familiar with, the same rifle he'd used for years hunting in Finnish forests. He didn't fight for glory or recognition. He fought because his country was invaded, because someone had to stand in the forest and stop the Soviet advance, because surrender wasn't an option. His tactics weren't revolutionary, they were simple, patient, the accumulated wisdom of a lifetime spent in harsh wilderness. Know the terrain. Stay hidden. Wait for the perfect shot. Don't waste ammunition. Don't take unnecessary risks. And above all, survive. Because a dead sniper helps no one. The Winter War lasted 105 days. Finland lost territory but maintained independence. The Soviets suffered between 130,000 and 250,000 casualties. Some estimates go higher. Finnish casualties, approximately 25,000 dead. By any measure, Finland won a moral victory. A nation of 3.5 million people held off a superpower of 170 million. David versus Goliath. And David survived. Simo Heihe killed at least 505 Soviet soldiers during that war, possibly more. The exact number will never be known. His personal diary suggests around 500. Official military records list 219 confirmed rifle kills, plus an equal number by submachine gun. Whatever the true count, one fact remains undisputed. No sniper in any major war has more confirmed kills than Simo Heihe. Not the Soviet snipers of Stalingrad. Vasily Zaitsev had 225 kills, others reached 400s. Not German sniper Matthias Hetzenauer with 345. Not American sniper Audie Murphy with 241. Not any modern sniper. Heihe stands alone. But here's what makes Heihe's story extraordinary. He never wanted to be extraordinary. He didn't seek fame, didn't write memoirs, didn't tour giving speeches. When people called him a hero, he shrugged. When they asked for his secrets, he said practice. When they pressed about his feelings, he said he did his duty. After the war, he went back to farming, raised dogs, hunted moose, lived quietly. The medals and awards sat in a drawer. The rifle went to a museum. He spent 62 years as a civilian for every 1 year he spent as a soldier. Yet history remembers him for those 105 days in the snow, for those 500 kills, for being the White Death. The irony is that Heihe would have preferred to be forgotten. In 2017, 15 years after his death, researchers discovered his personal war memoir hidden in archives. Written in 1940, just months after he was wounded, he'd never published it, never mentioned it. For decades, it sat unknown. The memoir is short, factual, emotionless. It describes what happened, not how he felt, not the glory, just the work. Because for Heihe, sniping was work, necessary work, ugly work, but just work. Someone had to do it. He happened to be good at it, so he did it, then went home. March 6, 1940, 11:47 a.m., Kala, Finland. The explosive round strikes Heihe's jaw. His face erupts in blood. He collapses. In that moment, the White Death should have died. But Simo Heihe was never about what should have happened. He was about what had to happen, about surviving when survival seemed impossible, about doing the job no matter the cost. The Soviets thought they killed him. For 7 days, everyone thought he was dead. Then he woke up, recovered, rebuilt his life, lived another 62 years, died in his 90s, peacefully, surrounded by the forests and fields he loved. The White Death became a farmer again. And maybe that's the most important part of his story. Not that he killed 500 men, not that he became a legend, not that he was the deadliest soldier in history. But that after everything, the killing, the injuries, the fame, the nightmares, he went back to farming. He chose a quiet life. He refused to let war define him. Simo Heihe was a farmer who became a soldier, who became a farmer again. The war tried to make him a monster. The Soviets called him death. But he remained, always, just a man, a quiet man from a border village, who did what needed to be done, then went home. That's the real story. Not the kills, not the legend. The choice to remain human when war tried to make him something else. Today, military snipers around the world study Heihe's techniques. They analyze his tactics, his patience, his fieldcraft. Schools teach his methods. But they can't teach what made him special. You can't teach someone to lie in -40-degree cold for 8 hours without moving. Can't teach someone to average 5 kills per day for 98 consecutive days. Can't teach someone to stare death in the face, counter snipers, artillery, massed infantry attacks, and keep returning to the same forest. Heihe did it because Finland needed him to. And when Finland didn't need him anymore, he stopped. Put down the rifle, picked up a plow, never looked back.